Time to play the game!
Hey guys, Retro Dude here. Thanks for visiting my channel again, where we take a look at all things retro and cool. Resident Evil 4 Remake. Hell yeah! To understand why this game is so exciting, you have to have played the original 2005 release, plus the remake for Resident Evil 2 and 3. Both of those things added together was a great recipe for us Resident Evil fans. So I decided to do a review for you guys and see what's good, what's bad, and what's badass. Alright, so for starters, the game features updated graphics, obviously, with updated lighting and sound effects. The controls were tweaked a little bit, so it's now easier for you to move Leon around. One of the things that I really liked about it was the enhanced audio that it has. Whenever you walked into a room, there was always these enemies chanting. So you always knew there were enemies present in that room or in that area. You need to find that wind-up doll, just listen for it. You'd be able to hear it. The sound effects do enhance the gameplay. So survival horror actually does very well with just sound effects and not music on the game. The game also introduces new weapons like the bolt thrower, which is a silent crossbow, I'd say. The knife got completely revamped, so now it actually has durability, so it could break with so many uses. It also has a really cool parry function on it, so if you time it just right, whenever an enemy is attacking you and you parry them, you could stagger them and go in for a massive hit on them. We also get a little bit of new content on it. It has these little optional missions where you have to go and find a tougher than normal enemy, and you get really nice rewards out of that. And it doesn't take too much backtracking to actually find these. Capcom actually has a really good formula for replayability on Resident Evil games. They come in the form of New Game Plus. Once you beat the game and you continue on, you get the New Game Plus, but you get to keep all the weapons and all the money that you accumulated. This adds up to you being able to upgrade these weapons fully. Aside from that, there's an additional menu where you can buy even more upgrades for the weapons, like the unlimited ammo. So while this is game breaking, it adds a whole different level of satisfaction just running through the game without having to worry about any ammo at all. And the way the formula worked, basically, once you cleared the game once, you would get just enough to purchase, say, a handgun. And once you went through that, you purchased the submachine gun. Once you went through that, you purchased the shotgun. And like towards replaying it 4 or 5 times, that's when you would get the massive damage weapons like the rocket launcher, the magnum, or even new weapons that they just added to the game. They switched it up a bit right here. Once you clear the game, you only get an option of 4 different weapons that you can get unlimited. The knife being one of them. The other one would be the rocket launcher, then it's a Tommy gun, then it's a magnum. And all the regular weapons that you played the game through don't get any unlimited ammo. This cuts down on the replayability of it, but not to the point of like, oh my god, I'm not gonna replay it. So if I was gonna replay it 10 times, now I'm only gonna replay it 7 times. So it's still pretty good, but it was worth mentioning it. Now, like I mentioned, there are some changes to the game, and not all of them were better per se. One of these changes came in the form of the cage match. Now, if you played Resident Evil 4 before, you remember, because this is one of those memorable scenes that we had on Resident Evil. You were basically cooped up and they were throwing enemies at you, and this was a cage, so there was no running away from the fight. There was no getting distance. This was like right in your face. You better use up all the ammo that you have because you're gonna get killed if you don't. The game opted to instead explore what Ashley was doing. And while this isn't bad, I mean, I actually like that scenario where she's running around and running from enemies and trying to get to Leon to free him from the cage. The whole cage match is done off screen, so you never get to see it. For my preference, I mean, they could have kept both, right? I mean, just basically once she gets to where she needs to get, then you jump to Leon, he does his thing, and then it just joins both of their stories together. I don't understand why they had to remove that, but yeah, they did. And I was kind of bummed about that. Alright, so not everything is sunny in Philadelphia. While most of the voice actors are really good in this game, Leon is solid. You get Luis, who also puts in a great performance on his deliveries. Ashley, especially, is really nice. It's really cute. Ada Wong, however, they decided to hire a new Ada, and her voice acting was just lifeless, man. I mean, this girl, every line that she recited was like she was reading a book. Remember when you were in school and the teacher like went around the room and said, hey, you have to read, and hey, you have to read, and you were just reading the words and trying to make sure that you didn't mess up so nobody made fun of you. So that's basically how it felt when I heard her talk. It was just lifeless, man. This is where emotions go to die. Another aspect of the game that I think could have been improved upon is, like I mentioned, the graphics are very well done. However, the cutscenes is where I noticed that they kind of suffered, or they kind of skimped on. Most of these characters' faces, not just Ada Wong, felt stiff. They didn't feel like they had any emotions in them. No eye gestures. Being a next-gen game, or that's what they were trying to sell us on, I feel that should have been added to it. Next-gen games do have facial expressions, and there's no reason why this game shouldn't have had that, especially when you consider the $60 price tag. Bringing me to my biggest gripe of all. While the game does look beautiful, and it does have a few slight alterations, a game that already has the story, the characters, and the gameplay already fleshed out shouldn't cost that much. I mean, really, $10 less than an original IP game? Truthfully, you could just buy the original Resident Evil 4 game, which is available on any console, probably even on your refrigerator, and get virtually the same experience playing this masterpiece of a game. Now, make no mistake, whether you choose the original or you choose the remake, you will be playing one of the best games of all time. It's just a little gripe that I have, and that's not a knock on the game itself. It's more on Capcom, and yeah, let's be honest, I said it myself, they're printing money by remaking Resident Evil 4. So for that, Capcom gets a disappointing stare from me. Overall, Resident Evil 4 Remake does do a really good job at giving us what was great about the original and improving slightly on certain aspects of the game. It's a must play for fans of the survivor horror genre and anyone who wants to experience one of the greatest games of all time. Resident Evil 4 gets certified badass. And remember, if it's not certified badass, it's just not badass. So that's all for today. Thanks for joining me. If you guys like this game and you want more reviews from me, don't forget to leave it in the comments section below. Also, hit me with a thumbs up, and as always, stay retro.
No! No! Stop! No!
Sweet child, do not resist.